Happy Monday, everyone. Tonight we are discussing the current self, why we shy away from it, and oftentimes disgrace it. So you can look in the mirror and say, I love you. So stay with me. I'll be back in 2 minutes and maybe 2 or 3 seconds. All right. See you soon. Hello. Hello, hello, and happy Monday, everyone. I hope everyone's Father's Day was awesome. Happy belated Father's Day to all of my fathers out there, those of you who are grinding and putting in the work and making sure that you are being the very best for your children as possible. So I am Omar Lee, your life coach, whether you know it or not. And we are discussing the three selves of self-care. And so tonight, I want to just do a really quick recap on what we had already discussed in the last few sessions leading up to this session, okay? Alrighty, so we had already discussed that the three selves are the past self, the current self, and the future self. So when we were discussing the past self, we talked about the importance of acknowledging that inner self, that the child within us that has a certain part of the story that kind of got us up to where we are in our current selves. And so the importance in that is being able to hear the parts that we kind of hide from, the kind that we have been probably traumatized from, that we have experienced some very difficult times with. And so we've kind of pushed that little girl, that little boy into the closet and said, okay, I'm 20 now, I'm 30 now, I'm 40, 50, 60 now. I no longer need your story because now I have my current story. Where in reality, the whole story, it's all running together. The younger part of you it's still there. And sometimes it comes out. And when certain buttons are pushed, certain triggers will make that younger part of you come out. And when your old self or your younger self is still affecting your current self, it's time to maybe give him or her some attention that they are desperately crying out for. Okay. We discussed, what does that look like as far as what does crying out look like? It looks like those triggers, that fight you got into in the parking lot because someone took your spot, or that argument that you got with the teller at the bank who said she was out of 20s, or it's those things that happen that we're like, whoa, we didn't have a lot of control of. It was hard for us to kind of prepare for it. It caught us off guard. Next thing you know, we were just crying hysterically in the middle of the street. Or the next thing you know, we were screaming to the top of our lungs and we did not know why. Those are those things where your past self or your younger self is now in your current self and needs to be dealt with. I also discussed knowing which hill you want to climb. I am a believer in digging up old things, because I just like fossils. When you dig up old things, you learn so much that you would normally have known. And but there is also some things that don't need to be dug up. And part of knowing which hill you need to climb is knowing if that particular issue is still affecting you today. If you still don't feel comfortable around men, you may want to deal with some of those things that's up on that hill. If you keep dating the same type of woman, or you keep experiencing the same heartache, or you keep going around the same mulberry bush, round and round and round and round, those are usually signs that there's something that has not been dealt with appropriately. Those are usually signs that there are still some areas in your life where you need to kind of come to grips with some things, and maybe heal, or maybe confront whatever may be the course of action. But definitely there needs to be some action, because your younger self is crying out. And it's kind of like, how it says that the blood cries up from the ground. It's like there's still trauma there, there's still evidence, there's still residue. And usually other people who are around you can see that more than you can. For a lot of us, it is our normal everyday behaviors. And so we're not aware that we're easily triggered, or we're easily frustrated, or we're just kind of overreacting. A lot of times we don't realize these things about ourselves. And so it's important that we listen to those around us. Sometimes we hear people who say over and over again, we'll hear people say, oh, you people always tell me that. People say everybody says that. But then we'll say, nah, I don't do that. That's not me. Well, if everybody says that, that's usually a sign that, yeah, perhaps there's some things that need to be dealt with. Okay. Hello. Thank you guys for joining me. If you are just coming in, I'm sorry. Let me set my camera and everything to do not disturb. I got all kind of little pop-ups coming up. And I'll chase squirrels. But so we are just doing a brief overview of what we kind of went over that brought us up to our current selves. And so as we're still looking now at all the things that kind of went through all of that, we kind of begin to speak on, okay, if we decided that this is the hill that we need to climb, we discussed in our last meeting, should I seek therapy, or should I seek a life coach? And we talked about some of the fears that came along with that. We talked about how to kind of handle those, to decide how to handle if you're going to go to therapy or if you're going to go to a life coach. We discussed the control that you have if you're going to go, if you're going to decide that I want to get help, to know that you're in control. You are paying the therapist, you are paying the life coach, you are paying the guru, or whatever, whoever it is that you are seeking this help from. They work for you. And so you can decide how fast the therapy goes. You can decide how slow it goes. You can decide how many sessions. Most of the time we just recommend. We say, hey, this is what we think will work. I know for myself, I partner with you, so we kind of work on everything together to kind of build up to where we need to be. So we discussed that. We discussed the fears of it, and how to handle the fears of it, and the finances, and some of those other things. So if you did miss any of that I just recapped, you can go back and look at the other broadcasts and kind of get yourself caught up. All righty. Okay, good. So let's see who is in. Hello. Oh, hi. Hi, everyone. I love when I see new people in the room. Hi to all of my Instagram and Facebook. Hello, everyone. We are going to now start talking about the current self. But before we get into that, I do want to just kind of tap in and see how everyone's doing. How is everyone doing tonight? As you're typing that in or sending up I don't know, you guys do like emojis or whatever it is that you can do from the Facebook social media platform. I am doing quite well. I have a few things that's going on, that's brewing, coming up this week. And so I have been trying to keep myself focused. The heat has been crazy, and I have had to be in the heat. So that's very interesting. And I know that some of you are not in California, so your weather is a little bit different. But right now, California is hot, and we are spoiled in California. So trust me, we are having serious triggers and adult tantrums and everything because it's hot. But it's good to see that you guys are all doing well. Very good. I got thumbs ups. So let's get into tonight's topic, which is the current self. Now, what I was looking at, or I don't know if I could say look at or concerned with, is a couple of questions came up as I was preparing for tonight. And one of the things I was thinking about was, I know that the last couple of sessions was a little bit iffy for a lot of people. A lot of people had to turn me off. They couldn't kind of deal with going into that past, that childhood stuff. It was a little bit too much. And I thought about the current self, and the current self kind of poses its own fears, right? A lot of times we are walking in denial because of the current self, the man in the mirror, the person that we can look back at. A lot of times we find ourselves afraid to really confront who we are at this exact moment. 6:12 p.m. on this day. It's hard for us to actually look in the mirror, look ourselves in the eye and say, okay, hey, this is who you are right now. I still love you, and to still speak that positive life into ourselves. I thought about the past self, the younger version of ourselves. It's hard to face it, but the younger self can kind of hide. We can kind of not really give it too much attention. We can kind of, cover the younger self up. We can not deal with it. We can ignore the younger self. We can kind of act as if it didn't happen. It didn't exist. Like you were never 5. You were never 7. You've always been 43. You can kind of push it to the side, whereas the current self, it's like, boom, right? It's right here, right? There's no getting around it. There's no way to hide from it. And if you have people in your life, like I have in my life, they're constantly there letting you know, boom, this is the problem. Boom, that's the problem. No, it's you. It's this. And for a lot of you guys, y'all run from people like that. I love people like that. I love to keep people in my life, not to beat me down, but to hold me accountable, to make sure that I stay straight, to make sure that I'm not tripping, that I'm not making up excuses, that I am being responsible for my actions, for the things I say, for the things that I do. So we're looking at our current self now. And so my question to you is, what is the fear of facing the current self? What is it that keeps us from looking in the mirror and saying those words? Mirror, mirror on the wall, who am I? What comes up when we have to really stop and look at ourselves? I know so many people, and that's not rhetorical. So if you are listening to me, if you're watching it on the replay, please put it in the comment section. What is the fear, or what is the emotion? What is accompanying actually looking in the mirror and you know, what is that emotion? What do you feel when you have to really look at yourself? Please, I do want you to comment and talk to me. Talk to me tonight. Hey, Kita. Yes, people. No yes people around me either, sis. Right. I love people who keep me accountable, who keep my nose to the grind, who says, hey, nah, that stinks. That's not cute. That keeps me straight, and those are the people that I like to surround myself with. But what is it? What is it that when you have to really, really face the current self? Now, I want you to respond to me. But at the same time, I also want to have this dialogue. And I can't wait until we can actually start talking back one-on-one. It's going to be so awesome. So shameless plug, as a buddy of mine says, a shameless plug. But July, when we open it up and we start having the small group sessions, oh my gosh, it's going to be awesome. So please, please, please keep looking out for that. But so the current self is kind of it's kind of I think convoluted. It's a lot that go on with the current self, because the current self has so much judgment. When we're looking in the mirror, we judge ourselves. We judge ourselves on how we look. Our face is fat. Our eyes are too far apart. I hate my smile. I don't like my skin complexion. I don't like the moles I have on my face. I don't like, I know so many people who don't like to even sit in quiet. There has to be noise. There has to be a TV. There has to be a fan going. There has to be some kind of, they're playing music while they're asleep. They have to have some kind of stimulation in order to go to sleep, to just be, people can't just sit in a dark, quiet room anymore. For me, that's my jam. I love to just sit in quiet. There's no judgment. It's an observation. I've noticed that. I'm like, if I'm sitting and I'm quiet and somebody walks into the room, the first thing they do is pop on a light, turn on the TV. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? I enjoy the quiet. Let's just sit and just be quiet. And people can't, it's very uncomfortable for them. So let's see, what is it that you struggle with when you're looking in the mirror? And I'm using figurative language. When you look at yourself, when you look yourself in the eye, what is it about looking at yourself that makes it so difficult to either confront or accept your current self, that this is who I am right now, and to be able to love that cross eyes or the eyebrows that just won't match, or the crooked smile, or the gap in the teeth, or the missing tooth, or the whatever it is? Like, what is that? I just want to know. You guys talk back to me if you're in the room, please. Okay, so we had one brave soul. I love you so much, and I truly truly believe, Karen, that you are healing. I really do. Every time you come in here, and it's not because you're coming into my mending monies, although I do believe that it does help a lot, but the way that you're confronting um, things, the way you're putting yourself out there, there's healing in that. There's so much healing in that. So whatever you're feeling, whatever, if you get in those days where you feel like you're not going to get any better, that this thing sucks, I just want to encourage you to stay the course, because every time you come in here, every time you put in the work, every time you talk, every time we have this dialogue, it's helping. And it's pushing you closer and closer and closer to that healing space. So I just wanted to just take some time to say that. So the comment is, I don't like what I see in the mirror. I love this because I want to talk about that. And that was one of my things, my subtopics was, who told you what you saw was a bad thing? Who told you what you saw was such a bad thing? I understand that the current self may not always be what we want it to be. But then my very next question is, well, what do you want to be? What do you want to see when you look in the mirror that you don't see now, that is not allowing you to accept, embrace, and love your current self? What needs to be different? If your life was a canvas, I supplied you the paint. I gave you the paintbrush and I said, paint the perfect Karen, paint the perfect Keita, paint the perfect Omara. What would that person look like? What would that person look like? Because we look in the mirror, and are we really seeing our reflection back? Or are we looking in the mirror and seeing somebody else's reflection that we're trying to measure up to? Come on, think about that. Are you looking in the mirror and seeing your own reflection? Or are you looking in the mirror and seeing the reflection of somebody else you're measuring up to, somebody else, either your parents measured you up to, somebody else that you admired and you let it go a little bit too far? Because admiration is great until it becomes a compulsion, or what's the word? It slipped my mind, but it's great when you admire somebody, but then when you become infatuated, or you become so ingrained in who they are, trying to be more like them. I want to talk like them. I want to walk like them. I want to be strong and positive like them. And most of the stuff is smoke and mirrors. Many people put on this wonderful, wonderful persona because, hey, I'm live right now. I'm on my Mending Monday. You don't know that before I came on here, I just kicked the dog, cussed out the cat. If you don't know what I did before I came on here. So I can come on here and be like, I'm strong, I'm positive. Hey, nothing bothers me. Hey, are you triggered? You got to know your body, scan your body. I got all the tools, right? I got all of the things that I need, because I'm live and I'm giving you your ammunition for the week, right? Right? So we look in the mirror, and sometimes our reflection is not our own. We're comparing ourselves to what we would like to look like. And a lot of times it robs us from who we are now. I look at some things that I used to be when I was younger and I missed it. I'm like, shoot, I used to be able to do this, take a lick and keep ticking. I used to be able to do that. I used to do this. Oh my goodness. I used to put them Jordache jeans on. And, we have, everybody got those stories of what we used to be. But a lot of times I look back and when I'm in my right mind and I'm thinking about all the things I used to be, and I look at who I am now, I wouldn't trade places with that for nothing. Because in order to get that younger me body, that goes with the younger me mentality. In order to get, it's a lot of things that came with that younger independence, that younger didn't have no kids and only had to worry about themselves, that you can't covet stuff that's going to rob you from who you are now. And a lot of times when we look in the mirror, who we are now is so much greater, so much wiser, so much stronger than who we used to be. We chasing a dream that ain't even worth, living in real life. It needs to stay a dream, because if we wake up and really look at it, we'll be like, nah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Some of us are pining for that love we had years ago, our first love. And then when you finally do get to meet up with them, you're like, ooh, you suck. If I had stayed with you, I'd have killed myself. This would have been horrible. But we don't think of it that way. So we look in the mirror and sometimes we're chasing something that don't need to be caught. You know what I mean? Okay, talk to me. Let me know if you guys are with me. Give me a thumbs up if you're in the room. Let me see what we have going on. Was I not just talking about that? Okay. Yeah. So she was a bad shut your mouth. Okay. So again, I am, let me just be a little transparent for you guys. Okay. So I have put on some pounds since COVID, and they're not in the right places. Okay. And in doing that, I started to just be like, oh, I can't. It was bothering me. It really was bothering me. And I may not have let on as deeply as it was bothering me, but it really was bothering me. And I had to just think about it like, okay, is this genetics? I am in my late 40s. I started looking at all the things that was bringing on all of the things. And it was absolutely so simple. My husband was like, cut out the sugar, no more carbs, increase your water. And simply like that. And I promise you, it's only been 2 weeks and I'm starting to see results, because it was a simple, what put it on? It's simple math. What put it on? What gets it off? That's it. It's not something that I have to allow myself to look in the mirror and I don't want to look at my body, or I don't want to, I don't want to go nowhere because I don't like the way I look today. I don't like this. I don't like that. I have learned to be content in the skin that I'm in. And it took a long time for me to get there, but the current me is who I have to deal. This is what I have to work with. And if I abuse the current me can't be the best current me, because I'm verbally abusing myself, physically abusing myself. I'm doing these things to my own self because I can't accept what I am right now, who I am right now. And I'm not saying don't work towards change. Like I said, I had to cut out the sweets. I had to cut out all these things. What I'm saying is that even as I'm doing all of these things, I am still also embracing and loving the me that I am right now. Because you can verbally abuse yourself. You can physically abuse yourself. So the current you needs as much attention as we're putting in the future us, because we have all the hopes and dreams for what we're going to be tomorrow. Oh, well, I'm going to be this tomorrow. When I get this weight off, I'm going to do this. When I start, when I get this new job, I'm going to do that. When I get my new spot, I'm going to do this. As soon as I get this new car, as soon as I get this new boo, as soon as I get as soon as we got all the dreams for the future, but the current self, the right now self, we're abusing them. We won't go and dress her up nice or him up nice because we're not the size we want to be. So we're punishing the body. We're punishing ourselves for what we already punished ourselves with. So we overate, we gained weight, and now we won't even dress it up nice because we think that by dressing it up nice, we'll just accept where we are and we won't do any better. So we make ourselves wear filthy rags. It's self-abuse. We are really, really physically abusing yourself. You have to still love yourself from whether you're size 4 or 14 or 44. You still have to love yourself where you are and encourage yourself and know that you can do better, but love yourself where you are. Where you are. When you look in the mirror, whose words are you hearing? Whose words are you hearing? Are you hearing your words back at you, or are you hearing somebody else's words back at you? That's really, really important to decipher the two. Whose voice are you really hearing? And if it's not your voice, then you need to check it. You have to start checking yourself. If you look in the mirror and you're like, yeah, I am super dark. Oh my God. What's wrong with being super dark? What's wrong with having your hair look a certain way? What's wrong with that? Okay, so you didn't become a lawyer, but you have a good job. You can pay your own bills. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with celebrating where you are? We don't do that. We beat ourselves constantly. The current self gets more abuse by us than the younger self who got abused by somebody else. And the first thing we say is when we were younger, we didn't have a voice. And this happened to me. And please know my heart. Know that I'm not saying what happened to you when you were as a kid is irrelevant, because that's not even me. But what we do is we say we didn't have a choice. And we were talked to bad. We were treated badly, that, no one told us anything positive about ourselves. But then now here we are, 30, 40, 50, 60. We don't even tell ourselves anything positive. We don't speak life to ourselves. We don't look in the mirror at a size 18, 22, 44 and say, you a bad, shut your mouth now. Now you showing out, eating all these sweets, but you bad, girl. You look good. But we're going to have to work on this because all this extra stuff ain't working. But boy, you still look good. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with looking in the mirror and saying, man, dang, you are so worth loving. You are kind. You are loving. You are beautiful. You have a beautiful heart. The way you love people, I don't even understand how you can still do that. But you bad. You have survived a lot. I mean, I remember when we were young, talking to yourself, looking in the mirror and said, I remember when we were young and we didn't have nobody to tell us nothing positive. But you know what? Every day I look in this mirror, I'm going to love on you. You are this, you are that. Start depositing into ourselves. Because what we do is we rob ourselves of loving who we are now. We make ourselves unlovable, Karen, because we don't know how to love ourselves. So we look in the mirror and we rehearse either what we've heard years ago. We rehearse, we do things and then we say, oh my God, you're such an idiot. Who told you that? Whose words are those? Whose words are those? Your words or somebody else's words? If they're not your words, then do not repeat them again, because now you are literally abusing yourself. You've become your own abuser. You've become your own tormentor. You've become your own worst enemy, and nobody else has to say anything to you to put you down. You do it by yourself. And you have to stop. It's time out for that, because right now the current you is begging you to stop. Sometimes, and this is to nobody, and maybe it's to everybody, I don't know, but sometimes the weight gain that we're putting on is the current self crying out. It's the current self saying, I'm sad. I need you to love me. I feel unloved. The current self. But what we do is we stuff food in our mouths. What we do is we sex ourselves, we drug ourselves, we dope ourselves, we drink ourselves, we get into fights. We do all of these counterproductive things because we don't know or don't believe that we're lovable. We don't believe that sometimes we can get to a part of our lives where we put more stake in what somebody else said about us than in what we know about ourselves. About what we know about ourselves. Stupid people can't work. They don't understand stuff. How can you it's like if somebody says, oh, well, all your life told you that you were stupid. All you got to do is look at all the things you've done in your life that stupid people can't do. If you never, ever had anybody look at you twice, I'm saying you can be one of those people that's out there, that rare bird that's in their 70s, never once had a boyfriend, never had anybody give. I'm willing to bet you that even when you weren't looking, somebody gave you an eye. Somebody looked at you. If one person, you only need one person to say you were cute, then you can't be ugly. Now, you may not be everybody's cup of tea, but you can't be ugly. You can't be, if you ever help somebody solve a problem, then you're not stupid. If anybody ever told you, man, thank you, I didn't even think about that, then how are you stupid? If anybody ever told you, man, I love having you in my life, you're such a good friend, how are you not worthy? If anybody ever said, I love you, you only need one person to make a statement not true. Now, hear what I'm saying. You only need one statement, one person. If one person said, thank you, you helped me solve a problem, you're not stupid. Just one. Because in order for something to be a fact, there cannot be an opposing opinion or an opposing truth. So if one person is good, it gotta be good. The thing is that, remember we talked about that reversing the ratio? Reversing the ratio. And I'm going to have a whole training on that. So look for the list. I promise you, it's going to be coming out. And reversing the ratio. Reversing the ratio is that every one thing, you need 5 things to turn it around. You need to turn it around. So that means that we now have to be the one to save us. We now have to be that positive voice. We have to be that positive influence. We have to be the one that's going to come and say, who's better to save you than you? If you can't rely on nobody else, who can you rely on? Who can you depend on? When everybody else fails you, who can you depend on? And I'm not talking about the Trinity. I'm talking about in this earth realm. If you can't depend on nobody else in the earth realm, who can you depend on? You. better to save you than you. Throw yourself a lifeline today. Throw yourself a lifeline. Pick yourself up because you can, because you have the ability to do that. I know people who live defeated lives but help everybody else thrive. How is that possible? How is that possible? You can help everybody else. Everybody else has, I mean, you can look into their lives. You can do it. You can give visions. You can help people with their dreams. You help them start a business, help build a business, extend a business. You're that person that everybody goes to. But when the mirror is turned around and you're looking at yourself in the mirror, you can't say half the things that you say to others. You cannot say them to yourself. If you're a helper, then you are loving, you are kind, you are giving. If you're a helper, you have to be. Because why would you care about what somebody else's business is doing? Why would you care about any of those other things? You can't be selfish. That can't be true. Now, all of us have moments. I have selfish moments. I have mean moments. Everybody has moments where we just we do some things. Okay. We all do. But the thing is that you have to look at it this way. If there's one opinion contrary to all the negatives, then the negative does not have to be true. You only need one opinion that's opposite in order for that opinion, because now what you're saying is, if this is true about me, if I am a hateful heifer, then why does so-and-so say this? Or how am I able to do this? How did this happen if all of these things are true? Now, it may be true. Like I said, you may be walking in that thing a little bit more. You might be a little more hateful heifer-ish. I'm making up words, but you may be a little bit more than average. But it doesn't mean you can't also be kind and giving and loving and selfless. You understand what I'm saying? So we're talking about the current self and loving the current self at whatever stage you find yourself in right now. It's important. You have to learn to love who you are right now. Okay? It's impossible to get to that future self without loving the current self, because the current self can only be driven so far before it runs out of gas. If you're not putting into it, you're not putting into your current self, you're only going to have so much energy to go only so high, only so far, before you need somebody else to encourage you. You need somebody else to love you, somebody else to tell you you're great, somebody else to pop your collar, somebody else. And when you find yourself in that kind of state, you're worse off than you ever been, because now when nobody says that you're great, you don't think you're great. When nobody says you're smart, you don't think you're smart. When nobody says good job, you don't think you're doing a good job. We have to learn to be our own cheerleaders. You got to be on your own. You got to do your own shit, skoomba, whatever they say. Hoorah. You got to be one that's doing that. And in order to do that, you got to be able to look and say those words. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who am I? And whatever that is, deal with it. Deal with it. And we're going to discuss that next week, but deal with it. This is what it is. This is what you have right now. The good, the bad, the ugly. Don't look at it. Look at it non-judgmentally and just say, hey, this is what it is. This is what it is. And I believe in positive therapy. I believe in, whatever you may give your attention to becomes bigger. So you're going to have those things that are negative as well. It's going to come up. When I look at myself, or I have certain moments where I start kind of feeling negative, like, Is that helping me? No, it's not. So what I do with my negative, I flip that thing around. Again, switching the ratio. If you missed that one, go back and and watch that one again about switching the ratio. So when I start looking at things and I start feeling down, I'm gonna switch that bad boy up and I'm gonna find some way to make that thing shine. I'm gonna make it shine. Dang it, I messed up. I messed up. I missed a very important meeting, real talk, last week. I don't usually oversleep. I'm up at like 5 in the morning. I overslept and really missed my meeting. And I really felt bad. I tried to just push past it and it kept coming back. It kept trying to come back and replay itself in my head. And so I had to say, boom, you missed the meeting. What did I do? I went to my phone. I found the next meeting, put in a reminder for that, then called my assistant and said, hey, I have a meeting on this day. Put it on the calendar and make sure you call me right before it starts to make sure I'm in that meeting. Did I still miss the meeting? But now I feel less bad about it because I put in a plan of action for the next one. I flipped that thing around and made it positive. I won't miss the next one. It's on my calendar. If I could turn my camera, it's on my calendar at my desk. It's in my phone, and my assistant has the date. I will not miss that meeting again. So things happen. They're going to happen. But the thing is learning to turn that thing around so that everything that comes out of your mouth, you're giving yourself life. Everything that you say, you're giving yourself life. Okay? If you are with me, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, I am going to pause for the questions. And let's just see how we're doing. What? Hi, Carmen. Oh man. And Lovey. Hey guys. So let's see. Hefe. Yes, I did say that. I know I'm just making up words as I'm talking. Right. So let's see. Yes, thank you, Karen. I am right. I appreciate that. So let's see. Yeah. You know, we have to. We have to stop abusing ourselves because that's what it is at the end of the day. If you're not loving on yourself, you're not eating right, you're not drinking enough water, you're not clothing that size 18. So what? That size 33. If we're not taking the time to make yourself look nice. If we're not, get your nails done, get your toes done. Man, go get a mani pedi, please. Get your hair cut. It's okay. Love where you are. It doesn't mean you accept it, but guess what? Every day you wake up, you are who you are dealing with. You living with you every day. So then why add insult to injury? If I'm not where I want to be, I'm not going to start looking frumpy and not doing this. Don't do my hair. No, it's counterproductive. It's counterproductive to who you're trying to become. It's like taking off you got to take the layers off. And sometimes it is a process. Sometimes you got to figure out, what did I do to get to here? And then you got to undo that process. It really is math. You got to undo that process. Now, you can't stop eating the ice cream and the Twinkies and the chips and the French fries, Amara. You can't stop doing that. But you can't undo it. That's what I meant to say. You can't undo it. I can't just all of a sudden be like, okay, fries be gone. No, it was many nights, many late night snacks of just French fries. Okay. So no, you can't do that. So, no sound. Okay, guys, hold on one second. If you can hear me, can you just give me a thumbs up? Because I'm getting, someone is saying that they don't have any sound. Okay. All righty, so that must be on your side, Miss Keitel. That must be on your side. Okay, I'm sorry you're having difficulty. So maybe you can go back and watch the replay and see if you can get that. Thank you guys. Thank you. Okay, so you can't undo what's already been done, but you can stop doing it. It has been it's been a while since I had French fries. Yay! You go, Omara. You rock. So you have to just put a stop to it. How did I get here? Why do I keep doing? Why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep doing that? And it can't be I keep doing this because of my mama. I can't keep doing this because of my dad. I keep doing this because of my husband. I keep doing this because of my children. I keep doing this because of my boss. I keep doing this. No. No, 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 no. It's accountability time. It's not about what anybody else did. It's not about anybody else's influence. It's not about, I don't care if they say, hey, mom, I'm getting ready to run the Jack in the Box or I'm going to McDonald's or whatever. Do you want some fries? I have to say yes or no. I have to say it because, yes, you're right. As Brigitte said, French fries are the devil. Yes, they are. They're the devil. Don't eat fries. Boycott with me, guys. No more fries. So you have to have that willpower to say, no, I'm not going to eat that. I'm not. I don't care. It looks good. It smells good. If you have to remove yourself from the situation, remove yourself from the situation. You do whatever you need to do in order to take care of yourself, to love yourself, to impart into yourself. Okay, because your current self is crying out that, hey, I'm lovable too. Okay, I need love. I need you to love me where I'm at. No, I'm not doing the best that I know I can, but love me here so that I can be encouraged to keep going. You know, a lot of our current self is falling apart because the current self needs us. It needs us. You know, sometimes we spend so much time and energy on the younger self that we forget that the current self is right now. The current self is right now. And the current self is saying, hey, can we just be happy today? Does every day have to be a fight? Does every day have to be a struggle? Does every day have to be, you know, and our body is saying the same thing because now we're having heart palpitations and many strokes in our 30s. We're having heart attacks. We're having high blood pressure. We're having all of these things that our body is saying, just love on me. Stop. That anger's too much. I cannot take any. I don't want to be angry anymore. I don't want to be sad anymore. I don't want to be you fill in the blank. I don't want to fuss anymore. I don't want to fight anymore. I want to feel something. Stop doping me up. Stop drugging me. Stop, filling me full of alcohol. I want to feel something. I want to feel alive, a real alive, not that momentary alive before the crash. I want to feel something. And so we need to start spending more time on the current self, more acceptance of the current self and saying, okay, I love you right here. I love you right here. I'm not going to wait until I'm a size 5 to go on a shopping spree. I'm going to make you look pretty now. I'm not going to wait until I'm a size, 40, I don't know what men are 36. I'm not going to wait till I'm a 36 before I go buy you some new jeans or I'm not going to wait for that. I'm going to make you feel good now. I'm going to look in the mirror and say, I feel good now. I'm not where I want to be, but I still want to look good. I want to smell good. I want to be able to present my best self. Okay. So we got to love the current self. We have to learn to accept the current self. And that means quieting the voices. differentiating between my voice and somebody else's voice, my voice and my mom's voice, my voice and my dad's voice, my voice and my husband or my children or my best friend or my ex-spouse or my cousin or my coworker or my whoever it was that imparted the negative thought in you, you are now perpetuating it. You're the one that's doing it now. They're gone because they're not right here. Hopefully, you don't have anybody in your life that's just right here saying you're a loser. You're not going to do anything with your life. You suck. You're just like your mom. You're just like your dad. You're going to be an alcoholic, going to drink yourself to death. You can't thrive. You're stupid. If hopefully you don't have someone right here every day of your life in your adulthood that's putting all that negative energy into your psyche, into your mind, into your spirit. Hopefully that's not your current situation. And if it's not, then that means they're not saying it anymore. You're saying it. You are literally abusing yourself. You're doing it. Every time you say it, even if you don't say it out loud and you look in the mirror and you be like, God, you're stupid. Yeah, you're abusing yourself. You. So now when you say, my mom, when I was younger, my mom did X, Y, and Z. Now look in the mirror and say, yesterday, I did X, Y, and Z to myself. Because selves, we have the ability to give ourselves what we did not have when we were younger. We have the ability to give ourselves what we wish we got when we were younger. We can do that now. And that's self-care, right? That's self-care. That's taking care of ourselves. That's taking that sauna day. That's taking that day where you may do a staycation all by yourself. Let the children go away to grandma's house or let husband go and spend some take the kids away for the day. Stay home. Husband, let the wife take the kids off to I don't care, the zoo or wherever's open right now. And you stay home, watch the football game, enjoy yourself, lay out on the couch in your boxers and just enjoy the day and love yourself because you do deserve it and you are worth it. But you got to put in the work. You have to put in the work because you're the most important part of yourself. Okay. How are we doing, you guys? I'm hoping that everyone is okay. I'm hoping that it's a little bit more straightforward tonight. And it's probably going to be 2 or 3 parts to this because the current self is struggling. We are currently struggling right now because we either living in denial. We're either thinking that if we don't do anything, that it's going to go away. It's going to magically, we're going to wake up one day and then boom, hey, I am better. That's not how it works. That's not life. That's not the reality. The reality is you have to put in the work. You want to be better. You got to work harder. You want to be your best self. Then you got to put in the work. Nobody's coming to take the pain away. Nobody's coming to take the food away. Nobody's coming to take away the spending sprees. Nobody's coming. No. Yes, there's still going to be clearance sales. Yes, there's still going to be all these things that make us overspend. There's going to be people that, things that people that come into our lives that's going to be attractive. That's not our spouse. That's going to happen because this is called life. But we are responsible. We have to put in the work. There is no magic fairy. There's no magic pill that's going to just make it all go away. And yes, you can spend those thousands of dollars getting liposuction or whatever other surgery you want to get, or going to have a piece of your brain removed, or whatever you would try to do in order to shortcut it. But it's in here. And this is the part that needs to change. In here and in here. You got to put in the work. And I know it's not easy, but whatever you've done to get here, you have to stop doing. Stop perpetuating it. Stop abusing yourself. Stop repeating things over. We ruminate, repeating it until it becomes a part of us. And now it's all we know is that we're stupid. That's all we know, is that we're ugly. We're too dark. We're too fat. We're too. Well, we should be too tired to keep doing it. Okay? So the current self needs love too. Okay. And next week, we are going to be continuing in the current self, but trying to get into another frame of mind where now we're like, okay, how do I love the current me? The current me with no excuse, with no excuse. So hopefully this has been helpful to all of those who have been able to tune in. If you are watching the replay, you have a comment, leave the comment. I do go back and look at them. If you do want to contact me, all of my contact information is on, you can see the contact information here. If you're not on Facebook, and you see you're on Instagram, there is a book me now. You can do that, or however you want to do, or you can instant message me if you need to talk to me. But I hope that this has been helpful, and I hope to see everyone back here next Monday, on My Monday Monday, to get your weekly ammunition. And again, I am Omari Lee, your life coach, whether you know it or not. And this has been My Monday Monday. And I will see you guys next week. Mwah. Happy Monday, everyone. Bye-bye.